So I am making cinnamon buns, and also I'm going to use part of it to make garlic cheese sticks. So I've got 2 cups of milk that I've scalded, which means that it's hot, but it wasn't boiling. To that I am adding 1 cup of butter, and I'm just going to stir it a bit until the butter melts. Butter is just about melted. So into that I have measured out a cup of sugar, white sugar. To the sugar I'm going to add 2 packages of traditional yeast. So all I'm doing is just putting the yeast in the sugar, mix it up a bit. Now this I'm going to add to my buttermilk mixture. And now I'm going to stir that till it's mixed. Okay, seems like it's mixed up. So the next thing is I've got 5 eggs here that I've broken into a bowl, and I'm just going to beat them. Now I'm going to add my 5 beaten eggs to my sugar mixture. Mix that. And I have 3 cups of warm water. Now comes adding the flour. So in total it's about 12 cups of flour. So all I'm going to do is beat it, mix in the flour until I get to the stage that it's not sticky, but holds together, and it becomes too hard to stir, and then I will do it by hand. So for those of you that want to try this recipe, you would probably want to cut it in half just to make like a regular size amount of cinnamon buns. So this is the dough after 6 cups. So you can see that it's still quite liquidy. So I'll probably add 6 more cups. We'll see as I go along. This recipe is out of the Ada Cooking Cookbook. So this is my dough. I've just added the last 2 cups, which is 14. At 12, it was still too sticky. So I'm just going to knead this a bit and then put it on a floured surface and knead it for about 10 minutes. So here is my dough. I've been kneading it probably for, I don't know, 8 or 9 minutes. So you can see it's not sticky. It's nice. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually divide it in half, because you want the dough to triple in size, and I really don't have a bowl that would allow for that. So I'm going to let it rise in 2 separate. So I've oiled this bowl, move it around so the dough is oiled. My bowl that I originally used. Roll it around till everything's nice and oily. Now I will cover it with a damp towel and let it rise till it triples in bulk, which will take a few hours. So here is the dough. It's been rising for almost 2 hours. And as you can see, it's about triple the size. So I'm going to take it out of the bowl. I've washed my hands good and floured the counter. So what I'm going to do now is I may flatten it a bit with the rolling pin, see how that works. This first batch, what I'm going to do is make it into cinnamon buns. Now you don't have to use a rolling pin. You can press it out with your hands. So once you have it in a nice big rectangle, I have melted a couple of tablespoons of butter. And what I'm going to do is just spread it all over the dough. Then I'm going to take 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. And about 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. Mix it together. And what you're going to do is just sprinkle the cinnamon sugar mix all over your buttered dough. I'm just going to spread it around with my hand a bit to make sure that every surface is covered with some cinnamon sugar mix. And now once that is all done, you can see everything is all nice and covered. What you're going to do is start at your long end of your dough and roll it up. Continue until it is completely rolled. Once your dough is rolled, now you're going to cut it probably, I don't know, 1 inch, ½ inch. And then I just pressed it down a little bit. And it's going to go on a well-greased cookie sheet. And you're going to set it to rise again. I left some space in between. You're going to cover it and let it to rise again about an hour and a half until it doubles in size. So here is the second batch of dough. As you can see, it has risen like 3 times the size of what it originally was. Now with this one, I'm just going to take out maybe just over 1/3 of the dough. And oiled or floured surface. And same, I'm just going to stretch it out a bit. This time, because I'm making garlic cheese type things for supper. So they're not going to be like a roll, they're just going to be folded over once. So that, and I've got about 3 tablespoons of melted butter. To that, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of garlic. I have garlic powder. You can use minced garlic. You could mince up garlic cloves, garlic salt. Just be careful if you're using garlic salt. You don't put too much. So what I'm going to do now, same, is spread it on the surface of the dough. If you wanted to, like, I've got some Italian seasoning here, so I'm going to put a bit of Italian seasoning. Come on, Italian seasoning. So spread some of that around. And I've got basil, so I'm going to put a bit of basil. My daughter Trina, she says she doesn't like basil, too strong of a flavor. So I will take her word for it and I won't use too much. But I'll put a bit of basil. I put a bit of spice in the last bit of butter here, and I'm just going to swirl it around. So there's your dough all buttered. And I have cheese. So I had grated up. This is old cheese. Use whatever kind of cheese you have, as long as it's not moldy cheese. But so I had half a brick of, well, just less than half a brick of old cheese. So that's what I'm going to use. So just spread that all. So once I've got that done, what I did was I just cut the first piece, and I'm just kneading it into a bun shape. And then I'm putting it on a cookie sheet, same thing as the cinnamon buns. It has got to rise for about an hour and a half. What they did in the Atacocan cookbook recipe is that she just had everything like that and then folded it over and kind of made it like a pierogi type bun. So you can do that as well, whatever your preference. But one of the things that I wanted to tell you, see, I have still quite a bit of leftover dough. So when I made the cinnamon buns, I have like just over a foot left of the cinnamon all ready to go, that it needs a second rise. But instead of doing the second rise, what I'm going to do is, because I put it on a cookie sheet like that, to freeze it flat, and then I'm going to put it in a freezer bag, and the dough will keep 2 to 4 weeks. You take it out, thaw it, and then let it do its second rise, and then cook it as you would normally. So that's what I'm going to do with the leftover dough when I'm finished here. I'm not going to make it into little garlic cheese. I'm just going to shape it into buns and then put it to freeze instead of putting it for the second rise. But that's how you make your garlic cheese. I'm also going to twist some up and see how that works out. See if it cooks up properly. So it'll be cheese twists. Here are the cinnamon buns ready to go into a 400-degree oven for 20 minutes. Then I'm going to use a mixture of cream cheese and icing sugar to icing them.